are, day 4 morning. What we're going to try to do today, this is kind of overview of what we're going to be trying to accomplish today, because the next day after day will be the pour day. Today we want to finish up this curb. We've got one side of it in. I want to form this up. We're going to put rebar in it. We're going to cut all these drains. We're expecting rain tonight. Luckily we got the drain system in, so a lot of the runoff from the roof is going to go into downspouts. So that's going to stop a lot of water getting into the dirt around where we're going to be pouring. And plus we'll be able to test the system before we put concrete over. So that works out pretty good. Get the curb set up, put the rebar in. That's that side, front of house. Go to this side yard over here. We need to put a form right here. We're gonna go 4 feet wide, which is a nice path to get trash cans around or whatever, anything. Then we're gonna come through here. We're gonna adjust this height. We've got a chalk line that we can go off of with a level. And then we'll probably just drop these, top of these couplings about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch below the red line. And that's great. Along this whole side of this house, we're gonna put the expansion foam along there. We're gonna glue it on with some 3M adhesive. I'd like to put it on this side, but I can't, because you'll notice that footing, that wall is too high. We've only got about 2 inches, 2.5 inches over, so I can't get a good expansion over that footing, because we're going to be sitting on the footing. We're going to be locked in the side of it too. So we got to lower that drain. We got to adjust all these drains. That drain is a good height right there. The atrium planer drain. Don't have to mess with that. We've got to tie rebar and everything. 2-foot centers, number 3. We're going to adobe it up. Might even throw a little key under this. This is not non-expansive soil, it's real sand, so expansion is not going to be an issue here. This drain right here is at the good height. Our concrete will be up about this high, same height as the patio. Sloping that way, maybe a little bit will fall into that drain in the middle. We got to adjust the height there. We have no line snapped in here yet, so we got to snap the lines. We got to grade the dirt, put it in form down there, put a form here, glue some expansion foam along the house here. I'm sure this footing's going to be too high as well. So we'll just stay consistent, foam on the house on both sides. Put rebar, and I think we're ready for day 5. Day 5 will be the pour day. All right, thanks for watching. Now we're just gonna do some overview, little head cam footage here and there, and go from there. All right, here we go with this expansion foam. 3M extra strength adhesive. That stuff works great. It could rain, it could flood, it'll still be there when you get back. That's a nice thing about using it. If you're in the rain conditions, you put that on, and then you don't have to worry about losing your chalk line, because you have elevation established that doesn't move. So we'll get that on there. Once that goes on there, I'll take my 6-foot Milwaukee red stick and run it across from wall to house or top of expansion off that chalk line on the wall. And then I know that they're level across, so then I'll transfer the mark onto the pipe at level, and then I'll go ahead and I'll take one of my fingers, either the 3/4 inch one or the 1-inch finger, and I'll use that to mark my drop from the walls of the house. Instead of using a measuring tape, I'll just use one of my fingers, depending on what size I want. Also, a size 9 shoe is 1 foot. So that comes in handy also. So if you notice on that expansion foam, we're just putting it at the bottom of the chalk line, that way we can still see it and then we know we're on. So once you cover the line, you really don't know how much you covered it. So it's best to be able to see a little bit of it at the top. The way that 3M adhesive works is you spray it on. What I like to do is spray a little bit on the foam and a little bit on the house, about in 10-foot runs on the foam and house. By the time you hit both things, it's dried enough. It kind of works like contact cement. You let it get dry a little bit, and then once you pop it on there, it's good. Right here down at the low end where all the water is draining, you know, walls go in level. As you slope your concrete down towards the front, assuming the wall's level, we're at 2.5 inches over the top here at the back property. But as you get to the front, the problem is now all of a sudden we've got a sloped line at 2-inch slope all the way out. Now we're on top of footing. So that's why we had to break the jackhammer out and do a little chipping. Right here, what I'm doing, I'm just showing the procedure I go through to get my area drains at the right height. I just run the level across, and then I'll put a mark at level. And I know those couplings, they're 3 inches in total height, those couplings there, and they're 1.5 inches on either side that you can slide in to your pipe. So once you make your mark, let's say that you want 1.5 inch slope, then you would just go measure down 2 inches and make your cut. But in this case, I just used the coupling, which was handy there, and eyeballed it across. There's 1.5 inch recess there on both sides, 3 inch total. See there, the top mark represents level, the bottom mark represents my index finger height, and the bottom one represents the 1.5 inches for the coupling recess. So basically what you have here is the slope of the width of my finger, which is just right in this distance. You see that? That's a real simple little trick. Get rid of a lot of that hardware you carry around and just use what you got. Now here's the Milwaukee cordless battery powered, the 9-inch blade cutoff saw. Really great for cutting rebar, I found. It's my go-to for cutting steel. So that carb random blade stays in that tool. Now here's the rebar. It's a number 3 rebar on 2-foot centers. So you see the transition fitting on that downspout, which is above concrete, which is where you really want those. That way you can actually slide them up, pop them out, and drop a water hose in if need be. Especially if you have a lot of trees over your house and leaves falling into the downspout and clogging your drains, you'll probably have to do that occasionally. Now on the chalk line, I went ahead because we're in that season where we're getting a lot of rain. So while the wall was dry, I hit it with some clear lacquer paint to lock in that chalk line. The thing about that, using that clear lacquer, you want to make sure and double check that that line's in the right place. Because if you were to put the lacquer, clear lacquer on there, and then you come by and double check yourself, and your line's high, and you got to pop another line, now you have a line that's been clear lacquered on there that will be exposed when it's all said and done. Hard to get off. Another step you'd have to fight through. So on this footing right here against the wall, because it is thinner, the concrete that I'm going to be pouring over the top of it, rather than doing an abrupt step off on the foundation of that wall and dropping it down to 4 real quick, I'll just do a quick 45 with the dirt off the edge of that top of footing. Otherwise, what you're going to get is an inverted weakened plane joint on the bottom of your concrete all the way down that footing, and it's going to crack there. But if you 45 it off with some dirt and gradually come down to high full depth, it's not going to crack over the top of that footing. So that's the key for that particular scenario. If you'll notice on the corner of that house, right where that downspout is, that's a key crack point in 2 directions. Unless you 45 it and go corner to corner, but that never looks that pretty. So what we'll do is we'll just hope it cracks in one direction off of that, and we'll go off of the drain pipe when we place the concrete. And this is a 4-part series. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.